Welcome, welcome, welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take your sources, could be articles, research, notes, you name it, and we really dig in. We try to pull out the most important bits, the key insights.
Exactly. Getting right to the heart of it.
And today, we're tackling a big one, a literary masterpiece, really. It still manages to enchant readers, challenge them too, even, over 2 centuries later?
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our mission today is to unpack why it still holds up, what makes it tick.
Because this isn't just, some old story. It's this meticulously crafted world.
Right.
And even though it was written ages ago, it somehow still makes us laugh, sigh.
Oh, definitely sigh.
And really reflect, I think, on just human nature, relationships, societal pressures, all that stuff. It feels surprisingly relevant.
It really does. The timelessness is just remarkable. A true marvel.
Couldn't agree more. We are, of course, talking about Pride and Prejudice, the one and only Jane Austen, first published way back in 1813. Now, look, some people might think, it's just a romance novel, right? A simple love story.
Yeah, you hear that sometimes.
But they'd be missing so much. It's actually like an incredibly sharp social commentary, super keen look at the society back then, those rigid expectations.
Especially around marriage.
Exactly. And the whole kind of strategic game of courtship, Austen wasn't just telling a story, she was putting that whole world under a microscope.
And the absolute best example of that microscope is right there in the first sentence, that iconic opening line.
Oh, the best. It is a truth universally acknowledged.
That a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Boom. Just like that.
It's pure genius, isn't it?
Utter genius. Right from the get-go, she doesn't just set the tone. She basically lays out the engine driving the whole plot.
Yeah.
It just immerses you straight into this era where marriage wasn't just about love, not by a long shot. For so many, especially women, it was, economic survival.
Absolutely. The main way, maybe the only way, for them to get security, social standing, especially if you had, a bunch of daughters and not much money.
Exactly. The pressure was immense.
It's so direct, that line. So pointed. Almost brutally honest about how things were. It perfectly captures that sort of obsession with making a good match.
Yeah.
And if you want the poster family for that pressure, look no further than the Bennets, right?
Oh, absolutely. The Bennet family of Longbourn. They are the living embodiment of everything that opening line implies.
Yeah.
Often hilariously so, but sometimes kind of heartbreakingly too.
Right. Because their situation is precarious.
Very. You've got this peculiar family living with the knowledge that their modest estate, Longbourn, it's entailed, meaning it's going to pass to a distant male relative when Mr. Bennet dies, leaving the girls potentially homeless.
Which puts enormous pressure on Mrs. Bennet.
Oh, Mrs. Bennet.
Yeah.
Austen describes her as having a mediocre intellect and uncertain temper. That pretty much sums her up.
And her main goal in life, her business, as Austen puts it.
Get those 5 daughters married. Period.
Yeah.
Preferably to rich guys. It's not just like a nice to have for her. It's her entire mission, her magnum opus.
An existential quest, you could say.
Totally.
And then bam, manna from heaven for Mrs. Bennet.
Right. The universe delivers.
A certain Mr. Bingley arrives. Young, charming, and crucially...
Very rich.
Yes, very rich, with an income of £4,000-5,000 a year, which you got to remember was a huge amount back then. Seriously wealthy.
Set for life, basically. Socially prominent.
And he rents Netherfield Park, the big house nearby. And Mrs. Bennet's reaction is just instantaneous.
Oh, it's priceless. She immediately decides he's the rightful property of one of her daughters, before she's even met the guy.
It's almost comical, isn't it? She just claims him based on his bank account and an address.
It really highlights how transactional the whole marriage business could be.
And Mr. Bennet's response to her? Oh, it's classic.
One of the great comedic pairings in literature, I think. He's described as this mixture of quick parts, sarcastic humor, reserve, and caprice.
So she's practically vibrating with excitement, begging him to go make the formal call on Bingley, which was essential social protocol.
You had to do it.
Yeah.
The man of the house calls first.
Right, and he just kind of bats away her pleas with this super dry wit, suggesting she should go visit Bingley.
Yeah, telling her she's as handsome as any of the daughters.
Such a subtle dig, but so cutting.
It is. It points right at her vanity, her desperation.
Oh, that dynamic between them is just... It's one of the best parts of the book. He uses that humor, that sarcasm, almost like a shield, doesn't he?
Totally. A shield against her superficiality. and maybe just to cope with the whole situation.
But what's amazing is how Austen gives us these complex characters right away. They feel so real, flaws and all.
Fully formed.
And their little arguments, their banter, it tells you so much about the society they're in. Even if Mr. Bennet's detachment is funny, it also kind of hints at him not taking enough responsibility, maybe.
Oh, definitely. And that has consequences down the line, for sure.
So all this sets the stage perfectly for the first big social event.
The Meryton Ball.
Yes.
Yes. The crucible where first impressions are forged.
And often wrong impressions, as Austen loves to show us.
Exactly. So Mr. Bingley, the new guy, he's a smash hit, just as you'd expect.
Lively and unreserved, dances every dance, charms everyone.
Yep. And he immediately spots Jane Bennet, eldest sister, famously beautiful.
And he dances with her twice, which was a big deal back then.
Huge deal. Signaled serious interest.
And Jane. She's equally impressed, finds him sensible, good-humored, lively, with such happy manners. It seems like a perfect match right off the bat, almost too perfect.
Almost like a fairy tale starting.
Yeah.
But then comes the complication.
A major complication. Enter Mr. Darcy, Bingley's friend.
And initially, Darcy makes quite the entrance. He's tall, handsome.
Fine, tall person, handsome features.
And the word gets out fast. He has $10,000 a year.
Double Bingley's income. An absolutely massive fortune. Colossal.
So naturally, everyone's buzzing, thinking he's much handsomer than Mr. Bingley.
For about 5 minutes.
Right. That admiration was soon over. People quickly realize he's
proud, stuck up, above his company and above being pleased.
He basically refuses to dance with anyone outside his little group. He just stands there looking aloof, which in that setting was like a major social foul, a real insult.
A huge snub to the whole community.
And then comes the moment. The infamous exchange.
Yes. Bingley tries to get Darcy to dance, suggests Elizabeth.
And Darcy just drops this bomb so cold. She is tolerable.
Tolerable.
But not handsome enough to tempt me. I am in no humor at present to give consequence to young ladies who are slighted by other men.
Ouch. Just ouch. Can you imagine overhearing that about yourself?
Brutal. And Elizabeth does overhear it.
Yep. And the impact is immediate. She instantly forms this opinion of him.
Remained with no very cordial feelings towards him. That's Austen's dry way of saying she was furious.
Understatement of the century. She pegs him right then and there as the proudest, most disagreeable man in the world.
And that impression sticks. Hard.
Honestly, though, can you blame her based on that?
Not really. His behavior was objectively awful.
Yeah.
Arrogant, dismissive.
It sets a perfect example of how prejudice forms, isn't it? Based on one bad interaction, one perceived slight.
Austen really wants us to feel that initial indignation with Elizabeth. It makes you wonder, like you said, how you'd react. How often do we make snap judgments?
All the time, probably. And are they fair? Usually not.
And speaking of judgments and impressions, this whole scene naturally leads us to think about the more practical side of marriage back then.
Right, because not everyone was holding out for grand passion like maybe Elizabeth initially was.
Exactly. Take Charlotte Lucas, Elizabeth's best friend.
Good old Charlotte.
She's about 27. Which, in that era was getting dangerously close to being considered an old maid. Her marriage prospects were dimming.
Yeah, the clock was ticking, unfortunately.
And she has this much more pragmatic, almost cynical view of marriage.
Totally. She's not looking for Mr. Right in a romantic sense. She's looking for...
A comfortable home, security, that's it.
She literally says happiness in marriage is entirely a matter of chance.
Yep, and that marriage is the only honorable provision for well-educated young women of small fortune. It's blunt, but that was the reality for many women like her. No independent career path, really.
It's such a stark dose of realism, isn't it?
It is.
And it kind of echoes even today in some ways when people talk about the practicalities of partnership, though obviously things have changed a lot.
For sure. But it highlights the enormous stakes for women like the Bennet sisters. It wasn't just about finding love, it was about securing their entire future. Makes Mrs. Bennet's antics maybe a tiny bit more understandable, if still annoying.
Maybe puts it in perspective, yeah, that economic reality is just baked into the novel.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got these first impressions set, the social stage is laid out. When we come back, we'll dive into how these initial judgments, especially Elizabeth's about Darcy, get twisted even further. Misunderstandings abound.
Oh yeah. Enter Mr. Wickham. The things are about to get complicated.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We were just talking about those crucial first impressions at the Meryton Ball and the whole marriage market situation.
Right, and how quickly judgments were formed, especially Elizabeth's very negative view of Darcy.
Exactly. So now let's get into how those first impressions really start to warp things, how they distort reality for the characters. Because someone new arrives who really throws a spanner in the works.
Ah, yes, Mr. Wickham. The
Yeah.
charming Mr. Wickham.
He arrives with the militia, cuts quite a figure. Austen describes him as a well-looking young man with a most gentlemanlike appearance.
Instant hit. He seems to impress basically everyone straight away. He's got this charm, these perfect manners, correct and unassuming, Austen says, and he knows how to tell a story.
Oh, does he ever? And he zeroes in on Elizabeth pretty quickly, sensing her dislike for Darcy.
He plays on that brilliantly.
He spins this incredibly sad story designed to make Darcy look like the ultimate villain.
He does. He tells Elizabeth, with just the right amount of, wounded dignity,
Right.
that Darcy's father, the late Mr. Darcy, who was apparently Wickham's godfather and benefactor.
Promised him a good church living, a secure, respectable job, plus a legacy of £1,000.
But then, according to Wickham, the current Mr. Darcy, our Mr. Darcy.
The villain of the piece, in Wickham's telling.
Exactly. Driven by resentment, Wickham claims, Darcy basically ripped that future away from him, denied him the church living, denied him the independence he was supposedly owed.
Forcing him into the militia, which was seen as less stable, less respectable, a real sob story.
Perfectly crafted to win sympathy and totally trash Darcy's reputation.
And Elizabeth. Well, she totally buys it, hook, line, and sinker.
Yep. She was already primed to believe the worst about Darcy, wasn't she? After the ball incident.
Totally. So she listens to Wickham with all the complacency in the world, Austen writes, meaning she's quite happy to hear her negative opinion confirmed.
It feeds her prejudice. She feels this strong interest in Wickham's plight. She even says something like, she's surprised Darcy's pride didn't make him act more honorably.
It shows how confirmation bias works, right? She wants to believe Darcy is awful, and Wickham gives her the proof.
Exactly. This is peak Elizabeth prejudice. Based on hearsay, colored by her dislike, blinding her to Wickham's actual character, who, spoiler alert, is not a good guy.
Not at all. And the irony is just delicious, because while Elizabeth is busy thinking Darcy's this terrible person.
Darcy's doing the complete opposite. He's falling for her.
Right. The woman he called tolerable, he starts noticing things.
More than just her looks. He sees the beautiful expression of her dark eyes. Her figure is light and pleasing, but more than that.
Her personality, her playful disposition, her sharp mind.
He's basically bewitched, as Austen puts it.
Yeah.
He's actually more intrigued when she teases him, when she challenges him.
Which is so different from the other women he knows, probably. He's drawn to that spirit.
Definitely. And this internal conflict in him, this growing admiration, battling his pride, it just builds and builds
Until he can't take it anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He proposes. Out of the blue, really.
But, oh, what a proposal.
Right, it's passionate. Yes, he clearly feels strongly. But it's also incredibly arrogant.
He just has to mention how much he's struggled to overcome his objections to her family.
Yeah, the inferiority of her connections. It's like, thanks, Darcy. Way to woo someone.
It's the perfect encapsulation of his pride, isn't it? Even when he's declaring love, he has to remind her of the social gap.
It really is. He's battling himself as much as anything.
And Elizabeth's reaction. Not good.
Not good is an understatement. It's volcanic.
She doesn't just say no. She lays into him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She absolutely lets him have it. Rips into him for how he supposedly treated Wickham.
And even more fiercely for breaking up Jane and Bingley. She's furious about that.
Accuses him flat out of ruining her sister's happiness.
Yeah.
Perhaps ruined forever, she says.
It's raw. All her pent-up anger and prejudice just comes pouring out. She thinks she's standing up to this awful, powerful man.
And Darcy's just stunned. He's clearly not used to being rejected, let alone like this.
But this rejection, this huge confrontation, it leads to the absolute turning point of the whole novel.
The letter.
Yes, the letter. Instead of just storming off, Darcy actually comes back the next day and hands her this long letter.
Then this letter changes everything. Because in it, he finally tells his side of the story. Methodically.
He explains the Wickham situation. Turns out Wickham wasn't denied the church living. He refused it.
Right, he asked for cash instead. £3,000. Which is a lot.
Enough to set himself up nicely, but what did he do with it?
Blew it all. Squandered in dissipation and extravagance, Darcy writes. Gambling, living wild.
And then came back asking for more money, and when Darcy refused, that's when he started bad-mouthing him.
But the really bombshell revelation, the truly shocking part,
Is about Georgiana, Darcy's sister.
Wickham tried to elope with her when she was only 15. 15.
Just a child, really. And why?
For her money. Her inheritance was £30,000, an absolute fortune. He was after her dowry.
It's predatory. Utterly despicable.
And Darcy reveals he was the one who stopped it, saved his sister from ruin.
Puts Wickham in a whole new, horrifying light.
Completely. And then Darcy addresses the Jane and Bingley thing. He admits he persuaded Bingley away.
But he explains why. Not out of malice, he claims.
No, he genuinely thought Jane wasn't that interested. He says she barely showed her feelings. She was too reserved.
And he was also worried about the Bennet family's behavior, Mrs. Bennet, the younger sisters, being loud, embarrassing.
Most obtrusive and unrestrained. He thought they'd bring Bingley down, basically. He was trying to protect his friend in his own misguided, maybe snobbish way.
So Elizabeth reads this letter.
And her world just collapses.
It's a huge moment of self-realization. Painful, I imagine.
Oh, incredibly painful. She feels, in her own words, blind, partial, prejudiced, absurd.
Crushing. She realizes her own vanity, her pride in her own judgment blinded her. Vanity, not love, had been her folly.
Yeah. She regrets misjudging Jane's quietness, regrets trusting Wickham, regrets basically believing the worst of Darcy because it flattered her own sense of discernment.
She sees how prejudiced she was.
Exactly. It's this profound moment of humility, of growth. She has to confront the fact that her own pride led her completely astray.
It's such a powerful message in the book, isn't it? About looking past those first impressions, about questioning your own biases.
Absolutely. Appearances can be so deceptive. Charm can hide wickedness. And sometimes good character is hidden behind, well, a proud exterior.
It's a lesson we can all probably take something from. How often do we stick to our initial judgments even when maybe we shouldn't?
It takes courage to admit you were wrong, to reevaluate.
Definitely. Okay, so Elizabeth is reeling from this revelation, starting to see Darcy very differently. But Austen isn't done with the drama yet.
Not by a long shot. Just when Elizabeth is processing all this, another crisis hits the Bennet family. A big one.
And this crisis involves the youngest Bennet sister.
Oh, Lydia. Wild child Lydia.
Yep. 16 years old, unguarded, ungovernable, wild, noisy, and fearless. A handful, basically.
And completely lacking in common sense, thanks in part to her upbringing.
And what does Lydia do? She runs off with someone.
Guess who?
It had to be him.
Mr. Wickham.
Of course. The charming predator finds another target.
And this isn't just like a teenage rebellion. This is a full-blown scandal in Regency England. It could ruin the whole family.
Absolutely catastrophic. It brings humiliation and disgrace on everyone. It threatens the marriage prospects of all the other sisters, Jane, Elizabeth, Mary. Who would want to marry into a family tainted by such scandal?
Their social standing is on the verge of collapse. The family is plunged into despair. Mr. Bennet rushes off to London, totally distressed and anxious, trying to find them, trying to salvage anything.
Mrs. Bennet is a wreck, just weeping and lamenting.
And Mr. Bennet feels this immense shame and self-reproach, realizing his own neglect played a part. It's their darkest hour.
Utter despair. But it's in this darkness that we see Darcy step up. In a big way.
And this is where his true character really shines through, isn't it?
Completely. Quietly, secretly, with no expectation of thanks. He finds Wickham and Lydia in London.
And he doesn't just find them. He basically cleans up the whole mess.
He pays Wickham to marry Lydia, essentially bribes him.
Takes full responsibility for all the expenses, pays off Wickham's massive debts over £1,000.
Which is an insane amount of money.
And gives Lydia a marriage portion, another £1,000, so she's not completely penniless.
And even gets Wickham a commission in the regular army, getting him out of the way.
All done completely under the radar. He doesn't want anyone, especially Elizabeth, to know he did it.
Why do you think he did it? Why the secrecy?
Well, partly his pride, maybe. Not wanting to seem like he's buying Elizabeth's affection. But mainly, I think it was genuinely for her. To save her family, to protect her reputation, her future, because he still loves her.
It's an incredible act of generosity.
Yeah.
And compassion, really.
It truly is. And eventually, the secret gets out. Elizabeth finds out.
Not from Darcy, though.
No, from her aunt, Mrs. Gardiner. She kind of lets it slip, reluctantly.
And how does Elizabeth react when she learns what Darcy did?
It's another huge emotional moment for her. She's shocked, humbled, but also incredibly proud of him.
She sees the goodness behind the pride.
Exactly. She finally understands the depth of his feelings. She realizes this immense act of kindness, this sacrifice, could be traced to nothing but a most earnest, most determined, most unyielding love for her.
That's the turning point for her feelings, isn't it? Gratitude becomes something more.
It deepens into a more tender sentiment. Love, basically. She finally sees the real Darcy, the man capable of such quiet nobility.
And meanwhile, amidst all this, Jane and Bingley finally get back together too, right?
Yes, thankfully. And Darcy actually helps make it happen this time, encouraging Bingley.
Much to Mrs. Bennet's noisy delight, I imagine.
Oh, ecstatic. Shouting about Jane's engagement from the rooftops. One daughter down, 4 to go.
Okay, so things are looking up. Elizabeth understands Darcy. Darcy saved the family. Jane's engaged.
Yeah.
Smooth sailing now.
Not quite. There's one final hurdle, one last obstacle personified.
Of course there is. Let me guess. Lady Catherine de Bourgh.
Bingo. Darcy's aunt. The ultimate snob. The epitome of aristocratic arrogance.
She hears rumors that Darcy might propose to Elizabeth.
Yep, and she is not having it. This is completely unacceptable to her.
So she descends upon Longbourn like a battleship.
Pretty much. Unannounced, imperious, ready for battle.
Well, confronts Elizabeth directly.
Demands that Elizabeth promise she will never accept a proposal from Darcy. Reminds her that Darcy is supposedly destined for her daughter, Miss de Bourgh, an arrangement made since infancy.
Because God forbid Darcy marry someone for love, especially someone beneath him.
Exactly. It's all about status, connection, preserving the lineage for Lady Catherine.
But this confrontation is just iconic. Lady Catherine throws her rank, her fortune, family expectations, everything at Elizabeth. Tries to bully her.
But Elizabeth, she stands her ground. So calm, so dignified.
She refuses to be intimidated. Refuses to make the promise.
She basically tells Lady Catherine, politely but firmly, that it's none of her business, that she'll act according to her own happiness, her own integrity.
It's amazing. She meets this incredible force of social authority with her own reason and self-respect. A total triumph for Elizabeth.
It really is. A fantastic scene showing her strength.
And the best part, the ultimate Austen irony.
Lady Catherine's interference totally backfires.
Completely. She rushes off to tell Darcy about Elizabeth's insolence, hoping it'll put him off for good.
But by telling him how firmly Elizabeth refused to promise not to marry him.
She accidentally gives him hope. She reveals that Elizabeth might actually accept him if he asked again.
Exactly. Darcy himself says later he had no hopes until he heard his aunt's report. He thought Elizabeth still hated him.
Lady Catherine, the ultimate matchmaker by mistake.
Isn't it perfect?
So that clears the final hurdle. And finally,
everything falls into place. Darcy, humbled, freed from that crippling pride.
And Elizabeth, free from her prejudice, seeing him clearly.
They come together, with real understanding this time, mutual respect.
He proposes again, properly this time, without the insults.
Yes, with humility. And she accepts, her heart full of gratitude and pleasure.
Even Mr. Bennet comes around, right? Gives his blessing.
He does. After some initial skepticism and a heart-to-heart with Elizabeth, he recognizes Darcy's love and his true worth. He sees Darcy can actually make his favorite daughter happy.
So a happy ending for our main couple.
A very satisfying happy ending. But it's satisfying not just because they get married, but because of the journey they both took.
This self-discovery.
Exactly. Elizabeth learning that vanity, not love, had been her folly. Darcy overcoming his immense pride. They both had to grow and change fundamentally to be together.
It makes the ending feel earned, not just inevitable.
Totally.
So when you step back, Pride and Prejudice is so much more than just a happily ever after. It's this deep look at judgment, perception, social pressure.
And how they shape everything, our lives, our relationships.
It keeps reminding us, doesn't it? First impressions can be so wrong. And real connection, the kind that lasts, it comes from understanding each other, respecting each other.
And being willing to grow, to admit when you're wrong, to look beyond the surface.
A message that feels just as relevant today as it did 200 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was quite the deep dive, wasn't it? It really is amazing when you unpack it all. Austen's genius in creating these characters, this world, it just holds up incredibly well.
It really does. Centuries later, and it still resonates. It's a real testament, I think, to the power of great literature to just transcend time. It speaks to us across generations.
Right.
We really hope you, listening in, enjoyed digging into Pride and Prejudice with us. Maybe you found some new things to appreciate, even in a story you thought you knew inside out.
Yeah, hopefully. And if this has maybe sparked your interest again or maybe rekindled a bit of passion for the book.
Go pick it up. Reread a favorite chapter.
Exactly. See what new layers you find this time around. You might be surprised, just like Elizabeth was.
And hey, if you like this deep dive, please subscribe to the show on whatever platform you use for podcasts. That way you won't miss our future explorations.
And maybe leave us a review. Share it with friends, fellow book nerds, knowledge seekers. anyone who loves a timeless story.
You really appreciate that.
Join us again next week, won't you? We'll be uncovering another story that, just like this one, kind of keeps speaking its truth across the years. Connects us all, really.
Sounds great. Until then, keep reading, keep exploring, and maybe question those first impressions.
Definitely. And keep discovering these amazing timeless stories that link us all together. The human heart, huh? Still endlessly fascinating.